Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here in front of so much history, surrounded by so much history, and we appreciate you coming over from the track to be here with us. We think about the fact that we are in the second year of our new car, and we consider it a success. We think that it has led to improved racing, competitive racing that's been evident at the races so far this year, and we noted this year in qualifying and even in the races up to this point that our cars are going faster. So that success, we think, has brought us to the point where we can say that we are going to open the door to managing increases in innovation and technology and to being true to the roots of IndyCar racing. At the same time that we think about that technically, we want to be equally focused on increases in safety for our drivers, our teams, and our fans. And so we're today talking about the beginning of a process which will be managed by Derrick Walker on behalf of IndyCar to move forward with technical innovation which we think our fans will like, we know our drivers like, at the same time that we innovate in developing more safety. We think it's fitting that we're here today with some examples, maybe we should start over here, of our roots, our history, which is very much part of what IndyCar is all about. So to my left, to your right, you see the 1962 Parnelli-Jones car, which first went 150 miles per hour. As a young kid, I think I can still remember that occasion when that happened and how much that meant to race fans all over the car next to that is the 1984 Sneva car. This isn't the one that first went 200. I think this first went 210, but you get the point. Those big thresholds in speed captured the imagination of fans, focused on how our sport innovates and made so much difference to our history. Next to that, over here, is Arie Landak's car, the current record holder from 1996, 236 miles per hour, a speed that has not been surpassed since. And finally, Ryan Hunter-Reay's car, which everybody today recognizes. I happen to think it's a very good-looking car, by the way. Which won the championship last year and is the platform from which we can move forward. Over to your far right, we want to stress equally how important it's been to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and IndyCar that we have been innovators in history, and we want to step up our game. So this strange-looking box, if you get a chance to come up and see, is a section of the Safer Barrier. We think it's worth remembering that the Safer Barrier's original funding came from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it was first, as far as I understand, implemented here at IMS, and has made a big difference in the safety of the sport. There are examples of helmets going from a leather thing that must have kept rocks out of drivers' heads, but couldn't have done much more than that, up from the beginning to the state of the art today, and examples of the increases in the safety derived from fire suits, where important innovations were first brought forward here. We're pointing to our history because it is part of our roots. We think that we're at a place today where we can start moving forward again. We think that that will please fans and drivers. It will lead to increases in speed and safety, and we're looking forward to going down this path. As I said, the person who will direct us in this endeavor, in this process, is Derrick Walker. It's my pleasure to introduce Derrick.
Good afternoon. Certainly, when you look around this museum, you see all the innovative cars and aspirations of many different individuals and companies. And when we look at where the sport is going, you can't help but look back and say, you know, have we missed what a lot of racing was about? And you have to start going down that road to understanding why we are where we are. And racing certainly has improved greatly over the years, and safety has along with it. But I think all of us at IndyCar and all our teams and drivers have realized that we've lost a lot of what was really IndyCar and what more specifically was the Indy 500. So today's announcement is really an announcement of an initiative. We are going to make a conscious effort to try and find how do we evolve, and that's a key word in this process, evolving from not only where the past was, but to where we are now and to where we need to go. And the marketplace and the circuits and the whole, everything about racing is quite a bit different, but we have to find a way forward, and the best way in today's world, whether that's managing the costs, the participants, the number of participants, the kind of show that we put on. We have to manage that. So we're going to keep that in perspective. And another key thing that perhaps we've benefited from over the years, more for being proactive or more reactive than proactive, is a lot of the cars in this area will show safety improvements over the years that were brought about probably through trial and error or tragedy. And I think when you look at another key part of our initiative is to look at the safety aspects of try to think a little bit further down the road with the safety. So the big emphasis on that. We have an advisory committee which is already in place, which we are now beginning to look at the rules and look at how do we open up the formula. And on the other side, we're going to have a safety committee. We're going to get key experts to come together to give us advice on how to do that. Now, safety can be in many different forms. It can be as the race car is, the driver safety cells. It can be the fencings, the pit area, how the teams operate in that area. So a big, wide range of subjects when it comes to safety. And certainly if one message I've got from Mark since I've been here, he wants to see us go back to the future. He wants to see us beat that record that Ari put up there. And certainly when we look at today's racing car, we can do it. But with every change comes an effect. So how do we manage that effect? How do we minimize disrupting our competition? That's the challenges. But today's announcement is saying we get it, and we're going to make a serious effort to try to evolve our sport in a positive way, and hopefully it improves the fan appeal, and we come back and wow everybody as they have done in the past. So thank you very much for your time. I'd like to bring up, I can't see him, oh there he is, Ryan. Let's hear from the drivers, because if we're going to go faster, we make sure they want to. So what do you think, Ryan?
You know, as an IndyCar driver, this is absolutely music to my ears. This is something that I grew up as a fan of the sport to start with, and Indianapolis every year was about seeing the speeds increase, seeing the new cars roll out with the different designs, and just how each team and manufacturer went about breaking that track record and bringing safety to another level. Indianapolis is also more than just performance, as you can see with the safety, you know, with the safety barrier. That alone was breakthrough in racing, and I think we can continue to move in that direction. As we bring the speeds up, the safety side of it needs to come up with it as well. So, you know, we have a great on-track product at the moment, which is probably one of the hardest things to achieve in racing. IndyCar has been putting on some amazing shows lately. But it is time to grow. It's time to move forward, and I think this is an opportunity for us to break that track record again. We're going to be looking at new ways. The Dallara right now, this current Dallara, the DW12, has the best you could ask for in safety innovations in it, and we're just going to continue pushing that. But as Derrick mentioned, it's back to our roots. It's going back to what Indianapolis is about, and that's showing that the manufacturers are bringing together what is the fastest combination in the world, closed circuit combination in the world. And as a driver, I'm just honored to be here and be a part of it and be a part of where future IndyCar racing is going. So thank you all for coming out today. I appreciate it. I could sit here and talk for about a half hour about going faster in one of these cars, or about finally getting a crack at Ari's record that's been there since '94. I know we can do it. I just hope I'm in one of those cars that's quick enough, you know, to have a real shot at it. So, thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you guys on the weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Real quickly, we'll take a couple quick questions from the media for our participants, and then we will conclude things. We will start with Bruce Martin.
Derrick, are the first places you're going to look at increases in horsepower, or are you going to look more on the aerodynamic side to try to get these speeds back up?
Well, the first area is probably be the Aero Kit subject, which has been floating around for over a year now. So aerodynamics, a kit that will allow the cars to develop aerodynamically in certain racetracks. That's probably the first one that's going to come up.
Derrick, you mentioned safety, but it's only a two-way street, I would say in my words. It's first the cars and then also the racetracks. Are you also working with the racetrack operators to make racing more safe?
Absolutely. Certainly, you can't have just the race cars being safe and the racetracks and even the pits, as we've mentioned. I think it's across the board. There's a lot of different expertise out there that we can tap into, and certainly, if you look at the example of the safety barrier, without that was developed here, and it is now the standard for barriers. So I think we can do a lot towards track safety, pit lane procedures, cars certainly. So it's not just focused on the cars, for sure.
Derrick, the past of IndyCar is known for its inclusiveness, and these days IndyCar is rather exclusive. We have one chassis, we have two engines, we have one tire manufacturer, and parts are pretty exclusive as well. What are you going to do to make this more inclusive, because that will help you increase your speeds and safety simultaneously?
Well, I think we can always get speed even with, there's plenty of speed in the car right now if we want to let it go. We will look at how we do that in a manageable way. Certainly if there was more participants out there or more manufacturers, more companies that wanted to play in here, we'd certainly be glad to talk to them and be looking at how we can make room for them in our current format. To get for where we're going, where we want to go rather, it's going to take time. We didn't get here overnight, and to get where we want to go, it's going to take a very careful structuring and nurturing of the whole field and the sport. So it's not an easy task, and it's going to take a lot of time. But I think what we're signaling here is we get it. We want to put Indy cars back where it belongs, which arguably you could say already are the fastest cars in the world. But if we have to beat Ari's record to prove it, it's probably not long in coming, I would say. But it's got to be managed.